Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited about our next guest. It's Akillezz. And the reason that I'm so excited is he is a profound visionary, a gifted artist. He's leaving a legacy and he's just right out of the box. Over 1.3 million people have been watching his video. He's got all kinds of stuff happening, and he is known as the hip hop poet. And you know my love of the arts, I know you're gonna fall in love with not just his music, but who he is as a person, and he's with me here right now. Hello.
Donna, that was an incredible introduction. I hope I can keep up with that. You really out of the gate, but no, thank you. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We talked on the phone the other day, and one of the things that you told me is about your love of Shakespeare and your love of the word.
Right.
So before 4th grade, you already had read his works.
Yeah, the complete life works of William Shakespeare. I always noticed from a very young age, and I think my teachers also noticed, that I had a certain affinity for language. And because of that, I really took a liking to poetry. And I think that's ultimately, later on as I began to develop myself, what made me fall in love with rap music. It was because of lyricism. Yeah.
And I think your rap is intelligent rap. And what I mean by that is that, you know, I love all types of music. You know, I've had a good ear for music ever since I was around 12. And yours is a little different.
Right.
It's not traditional rap.
Right.
How are you doing that? You're writing the words and then putting the melody, or is it like a synergistic relationship?
Well, sure. One thing that I really, the lens through which I view my rap music, I would say, for me, it's an interrogation process of the English language. And I've said that before, and what I mean by that is that I'm constantly seeking to create double and triple entendre, to use extended metaphor, similes, to change the rhyme scheme in a way where I'm using words that might not typically be used in rap music, and also take on subjects that might not be typically took on in rap music. And so I think by that token, I think that's sort of what sets me apart a little bit from my contemporaries. Yeah.
And let's get right to it. I would love to just take a look at your music video, because that way people are going to understand right from the get-go what you're all about.
Right.
Okay, so let's take a look.
Punching bag, great.
Here we go.
Used to the abuse, after all a punching bag is meant to be smacked around. I'm leaving now, turn back around. I hope you're fucking happy now. Wonder why you came back at all, but then again, what made me think that this time would be any different? I swear to God, I love you so. Why would I care about some religious differences? Thought we had some time to figure this, but this is dissonance. Just with this in between us, now we're screaming at each other, and the storm is brewing. This is just another case of shattered self-esteem. The broken path, the battered dreams, splattering. The ripples become current, concurrent, recurring currents. As torments, as buildings, feelings resilient. You weren't ready to feel it, but I won't die like Venom. One of these things, see, he's too quick and swift to ever trip and fall inside your shit against split him and then different. But the difference is I will never fall for your tricks again. This punching bag is done, the stuffing's ripping at the seams. I can't be sewn up and stuffed again to be reused. This goes right after you.
Where did you shoot that?
So Punching Bag was actually shot out in LA. It's a very personal thing for me, because I actually wrote the treatment for it, as well as, of course, having written the song. And they almost came to me together in the same moment, because oftentimes when I begin to write a song, I think of it in terms of some great thematic construct, which of course all films require. So for me, I think, what is the diegesis of this song that I'm writing, which is typically a term that we would associate with literature or film. So having asked myself that question, then I was able to, just after recording the song, go home and immediately write out the treatment. And then I passed it over to Ben Griffin, and we worked together out in LA. It was an abandoned mall in Hawthorne where we did some of the shooting. I believe Gone Girl also used the same mall. I saw it pop up in the film after having watched it. I thought that was interesting. And it was a great creative project, and Ben was really incredible to work with on that as well.
Now, the military people look like the real military.
They actually are ex-military.
Okay, yeah, how did you coordinate that?
It was an honor to be on set with them, because we had Purple Hearts on set, ex-military, people who truly served for this country. They were so inviting and so warming to work with, and they began to explain to me some of the formations and how to hold a weapon in the right way, and the horseshoe formation that when we were coming down the escalators in the abandoned mall. So it was actually academic in some way. I learned something in that experience, so that was really phenomenal. It was fantastic, and to them, if they're watching, it was an honor to work with each and every one of you. It was really a tremendous experience.
And the musicianship. Who else is on your crew? Who else is on your team?
So John J. Daniels is my executive producer, and he executive produced my album Transgressions, which housed 17 tracks. And it was a really full body of work. And he sort of found me prior to my being able to write music, before radio, before record sales, before all of these great and exciting things that I'm able to do now through my company, Akillezz Records. And he helped me turn that poetry into music. And outside of his being an executive producer, he's like a brother to me. We're very, very close. I was just with him recording the other day. I love him to death.
Well, I heard that you're very loyal.
Yeah.
You're a very loyal person.
Yeah.
And you were sharing with me just a moment ago that in 2012 you had a life-changing experience because your grandfather passed away. How did that impact your journey?
My grandfather, you know, I think the term grandfather even doesn't apply, because I think people think of grandfather and they think of a step removed from a father. And he was more my father. My father's great, I don't want to misconstrue that, but he really took on the role of a father because my father was working 18 hours a day. So all of my formative development has to be credited very much to my grandfather and to my grandmother, who instilled me with the values that I carry with me today. And I was leaving from Greece, which is where I'm originally from, and he was saying goodbye to me, and I told him not to worry because I'd be seeing him in a few days. And of course I never did. And the song Watchmaker off the Transgressions album I wrote as a product of that. It was the closest that I'd been to death in that way, and it made me think about the life and death relationship and time and all of these things that invariably we're unable to escape.
And even your name, your stage name, Akillezz. Let's talk about the meaning of
Sure.
that as an honor to your Greek heritage.
Yeah, of course. Akillezz is, for me, it is a tribute to my heritage, because of course I'm Hellenic. My roots are, I come from Greece. That's where my father was born. That's where my whole lineage, my entire family, we're all Greek. And also I think on the academic side of things, because Homer, when he wrote the Iliad, of course, created the character of Akillezz, the central character in the Iliad. And I saw a lot of sort of comparative aspects between Homer's character and myself. And in being a warrior for music and fighting and going every day to the studio and pushing myself to the edge of my own ability. And even like the bloodlust, the wrath, and the pride, I think I suffer from some of those things as well, because I'm very competitive as a rapper. So I just thought for all the right reasons it really fit. But of course I spell it differently. And that was because I'm also a visual artist. It was an aesthetic decision. It's Akillezz. And I really liked the way that the double L looked across from the double Z. I thought it looked like a stamp.
Yeah.
So I was very, very happy, and I don't know if I found it or if it found me, but either way it was great. Yeah.
It's beautiful. I grew up as a graphic artist. I mean, I paint, and that's one of the other things we talked about too, that, you know, when you're born with a creative talent, it's almost as if it comes forth from you.
Right.
You're generating it from within.
Right.
And it's 24/7. You can't stop. It's just, it has like a life of its own.
Right.
So you just said yes to it one day.
And I think, I think unfortunately most educational systems deconstruct creativity over a period of time, because you're almost told to always color in the lines and do things a certain way. And I was incredibly fortunate in my experiences where my creativity was recognized and nourished. Even through high school at Horace Mann, I was taking visual arts and working in ceramics. Someone I care about very deeply, Mr. Renner, he was a teacher of mine and really helped me doctor my abilities and hone it and craft it in the right way. And we had great conversations about being an artist unrestricted by medium. And, you know, I think of myself as an artist even more so than a rapper necessarily. Of course, poetry is what I love the most, and words are crucially important to me. But by the same token, I believe that a true artist really should never face those kinds of restrictions. So anything I touch and I can turn into art, I attempt to.
Well, we're looking forward to watching your career continue to soar. I mean, you're just so lovely and so wonderful. And what type of legacy, what do you want to do with your music and your career? Where do you see yourself?
Right. So for me, I really like to put the art above myself.
Okay.
And when I think of the kind of work that I'm creating, it makes me think of posterity quite a bit, and wanting to create a body of work that is the property of mankind. And not that just because not because it bears my identity necessarily, but that the work itself, that I'm harvesting something for some future generation. I think that's the way that I think about my music. And if I'm able to achieve that, I mean, that'd be, I think, an incredible legacy to be able to leave behind.
I agree.
And one thing I will say is, for me, I think in that regard, you almost become synonymous with the craft that you represent. So to have the name Akillezz become synonymous with rap and with hip hop, that would be the idea, because of course I don't want to merely leave a footprint on the landscape of rap. I'd really like to till and recreate the soil so that other people in the future leave footprints on the bed and the foundation of what I've been able to recreate.
You're young, but you're already a mentor.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're wise beyond your years, so
Thank you.
it's going to be fun to continue to watch you.
I appreciate that very much. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much.
and
Likewise.
I'm glad that you came on.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Thanks for watching. We've been visiting with Akillezz, and you can Google him. You'll find him. And we'd love to hear from you. We want to know what your musical tastes are. Maybe we can feature you or someone that you love. Thanks.
Thank you very much.